G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an MP-443 Grach pistol, and it's got a silent G, but Grach in our tongue means rook in Russian. So, you know, it's a little castle-looking chess pieces that you'll find on your chessboard. That's what this thing is. And we're going to bend the rules a little bit today in multiple ways, but the first one is we will be moving diagonally whilst wielding this weapon. We're not going to have our mobility cut off, so hopefully no chess people are watching because we are going to break those rules. So what you're looking at here is a Russian pistol in real life. It was developed around the early 90s to 2000s, and from 2003 onwards to this day, this is the standard issue sidearm for all of the Russian forces. It's a powerful little thing. In real life, it shoots that 9mm Parabellum round, which is a pretty strong Russian round. It's got that little steel penetrator, so you can get a little bit of stopping power out of your 9mm rounds. But in this, it's chambered in just in the 38 rounds, which, it's close enough. It's a vanilla ammo source that you'll have plenty of by the time you download this mod. Even if you do have this mod at the start of a playthrough, 38s, they grow on trees in Fallout 4, so that's fine. The customization is pretty good. There's obviously, well, not obviously, but there's no options for any muzzles, so no suppressors on this thing. So looks like we can't use this thing for a James Bond, and the mod author was very adamant about that. But we're going to bend even more rules, do a dodgy, and put a suppressor on this thing through the use of console commands. I'll teach you how to do a little bit of tactical education if you ever want to do dodgies in Fallout 4. Anyways, let's get into the attachments. And first of all, you've got the receivers, pretty much following exactly what you'd find out of a standard deliverer from this game. So there's no options for being automatic, which is fine, but we can boost our damage up to 129 and a nice little fire rate boost with the advanced receiver. We can improve the barrel here, which won't do anything aesthetically, but numbers-wise, we're adding way more range onto this thing, which is good for a pistol. You always want that. And you can throw a comfort grip on, which will, again, do nothing but change a few numbers. Gives me better recoil control and hip-fire accuracy. Always helpful. Again, very pretty much the same as a deliverer. And there's two major color schemes. You can either go FDE, which is sort of your tan-ish color, or the standard black. Depends on which one you really want to do. There's also options for standard sights or glow sights. We'll throw some glowies on this because why the hell not? And your muzzle slot, disappointingly, only has one option, which is standard, but that won't be for long. Is that glowing? Okay, that's not on the wrong side, but there's just a random glowingness on the front of that sight there for no well-explained reason. That might affect stealth a little bit if you are literally glowing in the dark, but don't worry about it. Legendary effect provided by Legendary Modification. We won't do anything about that. And here you go. Here's more options for changing this thing's color. So there's that FTE I was talking about a little bit before. We're going to leave this one all black, but you can also change the slide color as well. And you can throw some mounts on this, including a bottom mount here, also in FDE form, should you want to that. And you can mount some cool sights things. So it'll offer you some Picatinny rails on this thing, so you can grab tactical lights, put them on the bottom, and reflex sights on the top, which will add some extra attachment points for you to utilize. So we'll throw on an American sight because, we've got to make this thing as cursed as possible. You wouldn't want to do this with a Grach in real life, would you? I wouldn't. And for the lower rail, we'll throw on just a flashlight. Surefire. That's in English, so I'm guessing that's an American product, and if it's not, it's Western enough with its language. And you've also got an option for a damage slider here, up to plus 90%, gives you a respectable 202 if you don't feel like this thing is pulling its weight in terms of damage. A good option to boost there. There is. Alright, so there we go. There's really not much you can do with this thing, but I'm guessing the focus is going to be on the quality and usability of this weapon, so we'll see how it goes in combat. Like all of your other good weapon mods, this thing can be crafted at a chemistry workbench under MP-443 Grach with weapons. You'll require gun nut rank 3 and these materials to craft it. Interesting. Okay, the time has come to do something dodgy. We're going to be using console commands to attach a suppressor onto this, and I should mention before we do this, here is a few caveats. It'll still sound the same, because this weapon has no designated suppressed sound noises, because that attachment was never there to begin with. And secondly, this thing will have a suppressor made out of thin air. I don't actually show on the weapon pro because in the model file there's no actual muzzle attachment slot for it, so it won't actually exist on the weapons, but you'll still gain all the benefits from Ace Operator. You'll get a quieter weapon, and you'll also get the extra sneak attack bonuses, which is fun. It'll just be like a pretend suppressor or something. So step 1 is to find out which weapon that you want to modify. In this case, we'll be using this one. It's cursed enough as it is already. And then you're going to want to drop it on the ground. Don't worry, follow me. This actually works. Next, you want to pick it up. Just like this. I pressed the F button. That's on my one. But I believe on normal PCs, it's E. And I think it's your activate button on your consoles, if memory serves. But after we've got this thing grabbed in our hands, we want to type in this console command. Get player grabbed ref. All one word. Hit enter. It'll spit out a little code for you. And if you can't see, it is FF02DC25. Now, you at home following, it will probably be different. But what I like to do is I copy that code and just hit enter. It'll actually do nothing, but we will need to call upon that later to add the mod. Next thing is we need to find out what mod we need to attach to it. So we're going to search for a 10mm pistol thing because it's sort of close. I don't want to use a pipe suppressor because it's an oil filter. What we want to do is search for that particular O mod. So we're going to go help and go 10mm space for O mod, which is just the what the game calls the mods you can attach to a weapon on a workbench. They're called O mods, the more you know. Hit enter now. It'll spit out a bunch of things related to 10mm. I probably could have done the search a little bit better. You can even put suppressor in just to pick out any suppressor that you want. We want to find a one from the vanilla game, which you'll find basically anything with a 00 after it is on the main Fallout 4 ASM. So that's all sort of vanilla game what we're looking at on screen right now. We've got to find a suppressor now. It'll be under muzzles, so I think I've gone too far. There it is, muzzle suppressor, the second one up if you can't see it. So the O mod there, the extra ID that's in the brackets is OOD2A94. So we're going to call upon that ref ID that we got out before. There it is. Then put a period or full stop if you're from a civilized country, and then type a mod, which just means add mod. And then you type in whatever's the ID of the suppressor is. So it's again 000 D2A. Inhaled a lot of dust clearing out the shed. My apologies. And then we hit enter. That's just given it a suppressor. You can see it's got the suppressed thing now. We take that and we look at its mods on the screen. You can see that Ace Operator has kicked in because the damage is slightly longer. And the suppressor has been added. As you can tell, it's made out of thin air. It's not actually there. But it is kind of. And if I shoot my vertebrate... No, never mind, it sees me. I'll find some other NPC unsuspecting to shoot. Probably I'm going to shoot me. Stop hitting yourself. See, 4.4 times sneak modifiers, but as you can tell, very loud and proud, but none of the enemies will see it as so. You know what? I'm going to keep that on. Also, if you want to remove it, you go through the same process again. Sometimes I found that the ref ID does change on this thing a little bit, but if it doesn't, you can pull that mod off by, instead of a mod, it's R mod, meaning remove mod. So do that. Bam, suppressor goes away. This thing drops to the ground daintily, but we can put that back on because, again, we're doing a dodgy. I don't usually break weapons with console commands, but, you know, I want to show you something cool, something that you might want to utilize one day. Say if you want to put a suppressor in a minigun, you can probably do something like that. I mean, good luck. I don't think it has a muzzle attachment to actually access that, but we'll see how you go. Righto, welcome to the inside of Gunner's Plaza, because I feel like this thing is punching above its weight a little bit in the immersive Gunner's Plaza. I'm going to be charged at by like 40 dudes, but here's what this thing looks like in first person, including what it looks like whilst aiming down sights. It's a pretty cumbersome little tube on the front, on the top there for the aim point reflex sight, but I think it's a really good looking weapon. The textures and models, top notch, which is pretty nice. Also, I've still got the tactical movement mod, so I can still roll around and everything, and if I want, I can jump out of the way before I'm detected. That's a proper Metal Gear Snake move there. Now, we do have a little bit of extra damage on this particular version, thanks to the suppressor in air quotations, of course. Quite literally air quotation suppressor. Even still, it takes a little bit of killing to get through the Gunner Brigadiers, and in terms of its balance, like it's a 9mm pistol. You don't expect this thing to be dropping Gunners At least it's not the gunner privates. You expect to be killing those guys pretty handily, but yeah, the dudes we'll see in this one are only at lieutenant rank, which means they'll be nice and squishy. Just, I think, the perfect amount of damage to take down these lieutenant guys, at least in this first room. There you go. There's a proper bash animation there. I don't usually do that, but yeah, I've been playing a lot of Metal Gear Solid recently, and let me just, got away from you. That worked. They were completely and utterly... Nope. Okay, I'll stop screwing around now, but we totally dodged that person. Now, we still have bullet time active. I've still got that mod, but I've also got VATS on speed dial as well, so... There we go, there's a little bit of suppressor action. That's only a standard gunner there, but... Just in case you wanna... If you wanna know what this thing would be like if it had an actual suppressor. A very effective James Bond weapon, I would assume, but we'll just go loud and proud for the rest of this because I feel like it'll be good enough. Without that extra 25% damage, it does lag a little bit, which means I think, I don't know, maybe 25% extra damage on top of what we've already got would be a little bit too much. But I still think the damage is perfectly serviceable for this rank of gunner anyway. We're getting to more captains now, which I think is also fine. And a legendary to finish off. Now, what have you got there? Nope, it's an Italian pistol, not a Russian one. Take that. Let me just reload for a second. Wow, you're just... She's really keen to go for the fisticuffs instead of, like, picking up the pistol that, you know, I shot out of her hands. That's sort of an advantage to using this thing. Since it is a semi-automatic pistol, you can disarm your enemies if you roll a lucky number whilst you're shooting them. And it happens enough. The problem with some of these gunners is they've got like 12 rifles in their pockets, which they can use at a moment's notice. So despite that, I still got shot down pretty handily by that particular gunner. But we're not playing with any true damage mods, so I think we're quite fine. And it's pretty much breezed through an admittedly fairly mediocre level of gunners at Gunners Plaza there. But yeah, I think it's done pretty well. Let's up the ante a little bit. We'll test this thing a little bit more out at range. We'll go down to Quincy and see what we can do. All right, we'll start things off at Neponset Park here. We'll a little bit of a crab warm up here as we shoot that guy straight into his carapace, doing basically 0 damage. And keep in mind the 3.9 times sneak criticals. This thing is not using a suppressor. We cleaned up 3 of those guys before they even noticed me. Now, I have been playing a lot of Metal Gear Solid, and if you don't shoot someone without a suppressor, everyone figures out where you are, so that felt a little bit, generous. There you are. Cop that, lobster. Oi, where do you think you're going, mate? Coward. Alright, we've got plenty of crits in the bag, and I'm pretty sure we haven't used any of our standard VATS criticals, but I'm thinking I'll just keep the 0... slow motion VATS crits, the bullet time VATS crits ready. So then I can't just use them all, I gotta sort of build them up. Now, if you're hitting someone with a handgun over this distance, you'd have to be one of the best shots in the world, I think. Hey, we expect the best here at Captainoob. We are full pistol marksmanship. Actually, you could probably hold the muzzle right on target, but the barrel's so short that your bullet's probably not gonna make it anyway. Hey, all the reason to increase that nominal barrel length of the suppressor, right? And believe you me, I've seen in the comment section, hey bro, where's the suppressor, bro? And the mod author's like, it's never happening, bro. Stop trying to make it happen. And sure, I can respect a modder's vision in that respect there. That's a big whiff with that missile launcher there. And as you can tell, we're sort of plinking at his combat armor through here. And unfortunately for him, that fence is RPG-proof. He's going to hit it again just to make sure it wasn't a fluke. That one was a little bit closer. Okay, I think he's got us dialed in now. Oh, a cloaked man. Hold on. Actually, this is a perfect time to use bullet time. I still didn't hit anything. Let him flip open that stealth boy. He didn't have time to get it off. I actually staggered him right out of it. That's helpful. Anyways, we've got full crits now, so may as well use them. So yeah, I don't know how many of the viewers would have played Metal Gear Solid, but I got that for nothing. Just download points over the Nexus. They offer you Steam keys for that. So I got it. I was like, oh, I might play this. Had it on my Steam for a bit. I've always felt like it's been one of the... Oh, that was a huge whiffed crit there. I've always felt it's been one of the sort of blind spots in my gaming knowledge, because it's like... It's famous. Everyone knows what it is. And, you know, those Japanese, they know how to make a game. I'll tell you that much. And you can really tell that it's Japanese because there's plenty of just weird shit that you wouldn't see in more of the Western games. And I kind of love it. Even when you die, you're always laughing when they go, Snake! No, bro, you're dead, bro. You know? I love it. Oh, the cloaked man's got a missile launcher. I'm very surprised that the explosions here, they don't really do much. Like, he was standing right next to that gigantic mushroom cloud, and none of us really copped a scratch from that. That's the power of Flak Jacket, my friend. Alright. We use a crit here. It's a nice hit to start off with. We'll keep bullet timing this. Huh. We're hitting targets much more reliably when we weren't getting shot at. Perhaps we're not quite as good under pressure here, I suppose, when we're being shot back. I actually can relate to that. Can confirm if I'm shooting someone who's shooting at one of my teammates in Fortnite, I'll usually hit them a lot easier. So there you go. Maybe there's some merit in that, but I don't know why I was missing. I think my aim was true there, but sort of roaming around with this thing trying to get it to work because it's a pistol. We have got to get close to be within this weapon's effective range. There's Missile Launcher Man, finally down for the count. And now we've lost track of all of our other enemies. They've actually forgotten where I was. Now, Power Armor Man might be potentially problematic, at least in, like, old school Fallouts where I'd crit them for 0 damage using a 9mm pistol. Like, there's no way these bullets would penetrate through Power Armor, that's for sure. I reckon you'd have a hard time getting 5.56 to penetrate it. You gotta hand it to the gunners. They're committed to using the explosives, and not much is happening from it. I think what we'll do is we'll utilize a little bit of standard VATS here. I won't sprint up this ramp so we can regenerate some AP by the time we're ready. Although, saying that, we barely use any AP at all to sprint, which is odd. Hey, you've got ported assets. This cannot be allowed. And just like the Deliverer, you've got like a billion shots to utilize in VATS, so we'll just slowly chip away at his health, use the crits as they come up, which is fairly common. We've got a couple there. Now that guy was just taking the piss. I shot the 50 cal machine gun right out of his hands and he brings out his air fake gun. Is that another suppressed Beretta? Yes, it is. Okay. Alright, so I think you get the idea. It's held its own pretty well in some pretty intense situations, and at least in terms of what the vanilla game can throw at you. I mean, there's not a lot that can kill me in this game, considering that they shot many, many RPGs at me and still couldn't get the job done. But it's perfectly serviceable, despite being slightly less damage. There's a Mysterious Stranger. That's helpful, because there was no way I was hitting him without any criticals there. That's helpful. So now we got to kill the last Assaultron, and also this turret that they've stuck in the alley, defending nothing. Guess they were worried about that choke point. But I think the Assaultron is somewhere around here. You thought I was going to shoot you, didn't you? Well, I wasn't. Stop poking me. And now you're down. You can still keep cloaked though and know exactly where you are, but I'm gonna like open a USB port and charge my Pip-Boy from you. Hope that's okay. Actually, I'm fairly certain it's got like a tiny nuclear reactor in it, which it keeps it going forever and ever, because that's how nuclear reactors work. They just go. Maybe it's a tiny fusion reactor. Goodbye, Winter the Assaultron's sister. There's like a Twitter RP account that I follow, and they're like fully right into it. They post pictures of an Assaultron painted white, and they say, "Hey, it's me. Look at me doing stuff in the Commonwealth," and they've put it in Christmas dresses as well. I think it's adorable, but we've killed your sister. I'm sorry. And I think we've got time for a monster, but we're going to use the dodgy suppressed pistol against it because I don't think the standard version is going to do us too well. You could potentially argue that using a broken modded version of this pistol is defeating the purpose of using it against a giant monster like this, but well, this guy's not in the vanilla game anyway, and hopefully it's more entertaining than it is informative at this point. Crits, baby, crit. Okay, let me just reload. They'll be with you in a minute. Nope. Got you covered, mate. Nope. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. We're playing Dark Souls now. Okay, it's working. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Bit fumbly on the buttons, but I don't know. But I haven't got them down pat. Anyways, full AP bar. Okay, don't panic. I just pressed the Windows button there for no reason. Okay, I've got no crits ready to go, but at this point, we can bullet tail my way to victory, I think. Okay, there it is. I apologize for the intermission of unnecessarily pressing the Windows key. I probably should disable that, but we're getting a little bit fumbly with the buttons here, and I'm pretty sure you saw the shadow play thing pop up. I don't know if it records that. It might, you know, but that's just how it is. But I'm pretty happy with how that all went down, despite it being perhaps a little bit, what's the word? Disingenuous towards the mod author, because I added a suppressor that shouldn't have been there. You know, there's room to grow. There could always be a suppressor, but if that's really not what the modder wants to do, that's fine. We know suppressors exist on this weapon because there was one in Battlefield. There's like a tactical version of the suppressor. Is that the 1911? I'm pretty sure there's an S-TAC version of the actually, I don't even know. It's been a long time since I've played that game, but I think you get the idea. So that there was the MP-443 Grach, and it's also sort of a big iron on your hip, but it's not a revolver, so you won't be using this in Olga Free to shoot Texas or Red or something like that, but worth the look if you are into Russian-made modernized handguns. It's a very well-made mod, great animations, great presentation all round. The only thing is that I feel like it could use a suppressor. Probably my only criticism, just to, you know, give it that special deliverer James Bond type feel. Although there's plenty of pistols in the game that already do that and could probably do it better, especially the deliverer. Utilizing it in VATS would be pretty gnarly as it is, but who knows, maybe it's worth having a look at if you are more of a loud and proud gunslinger, as it were. But check it out if you're interested, links will be in the descriptions. Thank you very much for watching, we'll see you next time.